Alright, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we have a great one for you. We have the legendary, in my opinion, which he is a hip-hop pioneer. We got Maharaji right here from the Sir Mix-a-Lot camp. How you doing this evening?
What's up, man? What's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. Like I was telling you before we got on the air, man, I've been super excited for this one, man. I grew up on Sir Mix-a-Lot and your music, man, so it's always good to talk to one of your childhood heroes.
No, right on, man. I appreciate it, man. It's guys like you that made us stand out. You know what I mean? You know,
Hey,
I appreciate it, man.
and I'm gonna make sure that your legacies live on for many, many years to come. I'm gonna tell you that for a fact.
Oh, right on. I appreciate it. I'm sure that the whole ECP, we all appreciate it. And they're tuned in, I'm sure.
And I have to ask you, like, what made you decide to get into the music industry initially?
Well, I was into the hip hop scene anyway. I was into a breakdance group. I was one of the hoppers in a well-known breakdance group in the Seattle area, and happened to go to a contest, and I happened to see DJ Nasty Ness and Sir Mix-a-Lot battle it off and as DJs, and then I heard Mix rapping, and I told my homies, I said, hey, you know what? I want to do that. I want to write a song, and I went home and I ended up writing a song to an instrumental of 5 Minutes of Funk from Houdini.
That's actually really cool, man. I actually picked up an old school Houdini record not too long ago, man. You can never go wrong with the classics.
Oh no, that's man, Houdini is definitely classic.
Did you ever get the opportunity to actually like meet Houdini throughout the years of you just doing hip hop?
No, yes, I ended up doing early in our career. I ended up doing a few shows with them in the LA area. It's really funny because it's like you know you like you said you grow up listening to these guys and they're on your record player. You know, you going through the records, they're definitely in your crate. And I'm putting them on and I'm rapping to the back of your instrumental, and the next thing I know, I'm sharing the stage with you. It's definitely an eye opener, you know.
That must be really cool, man. Especially like the individual that got you into the industry, that helped you. You know what I mean? That found your inspiration. You actually had the opportunity to work with them, man. This must have been one hell of a surreal moment for you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, me and Mix, we listened to a lot of early West Coast music, as far as Egyptian Lover, Arabian Prince, and DJ Jam, and Clientele, and Lonzo, and all those guys. You know, these guys, man, were pioneers. General Jeff. There's so many of them I could just name that we listened to and we vibe to, and then the next thing I know, I'm in a hotel room and these guys are jumping on my bed. And we're swimming in pools and hotels together, and I even told myself, I even called my friends. I said, "You won't believe Egyptian Lover's in my hotel room and he's jumping on my bed." I had to call my friends at home and tell them this while they were jumping on my bed. And I'm like, it's just I grew up listening to guys. These guys are my idols, and now we're in a room together. We're on stage. And it is definitely surreal. It was like it was meant to be, you know.
And also, as we already know, you're a member of the Sir Mix-a-Lot camp. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with Sir Mix-a-Lot and the rest of the guys? How did that opportunity come to be for you?
Well, there was a couple opportunities I ended up meeting Mick, but he didn't pay attention to me at the time. He was kind of in this DJ mode because he was a big DJ before he started rapping. He kind of did both at the same time, but he was more of a DJ, you know. And just doing that, I was going to his parties and trying to introduce myself, and he was like, yeah. But I ended up in a group called the Enforcers out in Bremerton, Washington, and we ended up having a song on the radio, and he called Nasty Ness, and he asked Nasty Ness, who's this guy? And Ness called me and said he wanted a number, and he wanted to talk to me. He wanted to know what sounds I was using, what keyboard I was using, and I told him, give him my number. And one day I hopped on the ferry because I lived an hour away. It's like on a little island, and I went across, and the rest is history. As far as the ECP, everybody fell into place. His station really was there before I was, but he kind of like carried equipment. But it was kind of us three there, but it was just me and Mix really on stage at first. And he helped carry equipment and do things, and he was there. and he was always beatboxing and doing things around, and we just decided to bring him in as being part of the group. And then on next thing I know, Attitude Adjuster showed up. And we were hanging out together, and then he fell in and became part of the group. And then E-Dog fell in after that. It was really our group formed over the years. And I mean, about 10 years. It took 10 years to form, but there was different players, different members, but the core is still there. We're still together. We're still around and making things work. DJ Punish, Emerald Down. These guys, we're all working hard right now. I mean, the ETP is stronger than ever.
And also, before we move off the Sir Mix-a-Lot part of things, I have to ask you: were you there when Sir Mix-a-Lot created I Like Big Butts?
Well, yeah, I was there. In a way, actually DJ Punish came across with this beat, and then he let Mix hear it, and they ended up coming together, and they produced this track together. And I heard it early on. I didn't hear it right away. And then I heard it in the studio from Mix maybe like 2 weeks later, and then I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing. This is moving." You know what I mean? This track is moving. It had that Mix-a-Lot feel. He came with danger with the words. You know, everybody was like, "Whoa, this is different. This is something that can go." You know, so yeah, it was pretty deep, man. We didn't know that song was really actually going to do what it did, but that song, yeah, I was around when that was there.
And also, when I first heard you, it was actually on a Kid Sensation record called Rollin' with #1. You were actually on track 5 called I Spit Remix. I have to ask you, what was it like what was it like being featured actually on Kid Sensation's solo record?
You know, it was great because Kid is just, man, he's got so much energy, man. His records, man, his records grow. I mean, he had me really actually on Partners in Rhyme. And that's when he really put me on. I mean, we had all been doing things before that because we were writing a song together back in the day. We started writing on the Mix-a-Lot album, Sloss. It was a song called Sloss, actually. We were all three going to be on there, but next thing I know, we just changed it up. And Kid had his own form, his own way, and I was really digging Kid's style. And he asked me to be on it, and I was like, man, let's do it. So that came about easy. It's ETP, all of us. Anytime any of us needed anything, we're really there for each other.
And also, you guys actually had the opportunity to go on tour with N.W.A. I have to ask you, how did that come to be for you? And can you tell our listeners your favorite moment that you actually had with N.W.A. while on tour?
Oh, wow, that's deep. You went there. Well, you know, let's start. Well, N.W.A. and Sir Mix-a-Lot, we've always been kind of really tight because of Nasty Ness. Nasty Ness is the one who promoted the N.W.A. album. A lot of people don't know, but if you listen to the Eazy-E record, you'll hear Ness on the record itself. He'll be talking about, you know, Ness being, you know, hey, he's going to spin this record, this and that. I think it's, what was it called? I forgot the name of the song, but it was easy. And Ness pushed those records, you know, I mean, on the West Coast so heavy that it just flew off the shelf. And N.W.A. next thing they started blowing up because I remember it was just, you know, region by region, and it just, I mean, it's just really crazy. And the next thing I know, they hit so crazy that they said, hey, we're taking some Mix-a-Lot with us because they had did shows with us when they were, you know, smaller. And we had did small venues. We had did gyms in the schools. We were doing locker gyms in schools. And next thing I know, we're doing arena with, you know, who else was Kid and Play, Ice-T. There were dates where he was on tour. Too Short was on a lot of the tour dates. We were all together. It was a lot of West Coast. Trying to think who else. There was Speed, Layla. There were so many people involved on that tour. It was so fun and deep. But I'm gonna tell you, one time I had was me and Ice Cube being backstage during the tour, and I think it was with Uncle Luke. And he had his dancers up there, and these girls, if you only seen what they were wearing, man, and we were like, oh my God. And they were just staking their things in front of our face, and Ice Cube was like, she's number one. She's number one. And it just always sticks in my head, and this is crazy because I remember just, wow, I was having so much fun backstage. Yella. We've always run basketball, all of us. The whole the ECP, Attitude Adjusters, Kids Sensation, me, Mix, Ron. It was really crazy. It was good.
And the one thing I want to ask you about the end pertaining to the N.W.A. tour. Was that the tour when they hit Detroit and the police said you cannot play "Fuck the Police" and then well, you know the story, they did, and you know the whole riot broke out. Was that the tour you guys were on, or was that a separate tour?
We were all on the same tour, but what happens is we all also had our own dates. So we had like, we might have been this month, we might have been with N.W.A, and we might have broke off and did a few other dates on our own. And then we would end up on the N.W.A tour in, let's say, Florida somewhere, you know. We'd meet up with them again. Then we'd meet up again in Arizona somewhere after breaking off, doing some more dates. We come back to the N.W.A tour because we had other obligations that we had to go to. So we were on the tour, most of the tour, but we were in and out. And I wasn't there for the Detroit date.
And I have to say this, unfortunately, you know, it probably was a good blessing that you guys weren't there for that.
Yeah, I've been there for Kansas City and a few others, and trust me, when you get off the plane and you hit the airport in the time when you could have people that come past the gate. Yeah, I'm old, so it's like, yeah, it was crazy, man, because people were there with picket signs, and they were talking about in the hotels, the police that came to the hotel to warn us, you know, about the cussing. They'd even told all the groups there was no cussing allowed, all kind of things.
And it's like, no offense, but N.W.A, you can't really censor their music, especially on stage. Like, you know, every second word, you know, is either the N word or the F word, so that would probably be a little hard.
Yeah, that's really hard. They tried it, but you know there was mess ups and slip ups. But that's just the way it is. I mean, hey, it's N.W.A, like you said, and I mean those people were tripping, man. I mean, think about the sounds now. People are saying whatever they want to say now.
And also, I saw a picture on your Facebook of yourself in Too Short. I have to ask you, tell us a story behind that picture, and how did you originally get connected with Too Short?
Well, we did Too Short. This is way before we even did our first record. We were doing a kind of a West Coast fitness circuit, I'd call it, and we had some promoters that were, you know, hey, we had a little song, Square Dance Rap Out, and a couple other little songs we were doing, but they got big in the Bay Area. We started taking off in the Bay Area really well. For some reason, the Bay Area was kind of like a home base for us, away from home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I was always in the Bay Area, and it just so happened they said you guys got a concert in Hayward, California. Well, if you ever been to Hayward, California, I tell you this, it's Compton, just in a whole nother spot. You know, we went out there and went and did a show with Too Short. And I got to find out who Too Short was, and I got to see the real Too Short. I know him, and I've been knowing him a long time, and that's when I first met him at a little shindig, a little shack in Hayward, California, doing his first stuff before he even came out. And we were doing shows together, us and MC Hammer, even Tone Loc was out touring even before Wild Thing. We were all doing this circuit. Everybody was trying to build themselves up.
And
so
also,
that's how that came along. That picture actually was at the Showbox in Seattle, Washington. And my son said, "You don't know Too Short." I said, "Okay." So he didn't know I was doing a show with Too Short that night at the Showbox. I took a picture with him, and I also had Too Short send him a video to his phone saying, "Never doubt your daddy N-word," you know.
And you know what? I guarantee you, your kid's mouth dropped when they're like, "Wait, what? You actually know Too Short?"
Oh yeah, they all do. I mean, it's amazing because he was like, "Whoa, my dad does. Oh, he's tripping. Oh." He sent it out, showed all his friends, and he was just tripping. I was the coolest dad because I have a pair of clippers that I've had since I was 15, and I used to cut Too Short's hair. On the road, I used to cut his hair and just shave his head off. He'd just get a little something. He'd say, "Hey, Maha, can you cut my hair?" Because I cut everybody's hair in the ECT, too, at the time. So they would see me with the clippers, and everybody asked me to line them up. So I did everybody's hair, so I still have the clippers. And I was going to leave them from him. But my son passed away 2 years ago, so I didn't get a chance to leave him.
I do want to say my condolences on that.
Oh, thank you.
But as for the clippers part of things, man, I do want to ask you, did you ever think about wanting to become a barber? Because it sounds like you really do enjoy, like, cutting hair.
No, I just since I was a young cat, I just felt like doing my own hair, and there was a time that I might have maybe wanted to dabble when I was a little kid, say, oh, I could do some hair, but I just always had clippers, so I just always kept those clippers on the road with me. When we were going on tour, I took the clippers I had at the house with me, and I've always had those clippers. I've had to change the blades out, but I've kept those clippers, the same ones. They lined up Dr. Dre to Ren to, to Mix a Lot to me, my sons, even my daughters, the back of their neck. So they're kind of platinum in themselves.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know what I mean? Someday you should send those clippers actually into one of the hip hop museums, because it's not every day they would have an exhibit like that. Be like, these are the clippers that cut too short Dr. Dre's hair. You never know. They might pay you some good money actually for them to put it on display.
Oh, definitely. I have many items. Me and Emerald Down and a few others in the group. We have a couple things. We have even our new documentary we're working on, and Emerald Down and DJ Punish and Attitude Adjuster are working on things, and we all have these memorabilia stuff that we're going to pop out. And you'll see the books and like I said, we have a documentary we're working on too, also.
And also, speaking of that documentary, what can our listeners actually expect from that when it drops? I know you probably can't release too much details, but if you can, tell us what can we expect from this documentary?
Well, the documentary just covers who the ECP is. Everybody knows who Mix-a-Lot is, but they never really got to know the ECP. And so now we're just putting ourselves out there so everybody knows who we are. Everybody knows the household word, the baby got back, man, and that's my brother. We love him, but it's just time for us to just tell our story too, and make sure that we're not forgotten. Like we were talking about earlier, we're not trying to be forgotten. And it just seems like we don't have enough, material on ourselves out there, which we should have. And there's so many things that we've done that we need to talk about.
And that is most definitely true. And I'm telling you, after this documentary drops, the world most definitely will know who ECP truthfully is.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We are on that. As you speak, we're on that. We have, like I said, we all have so many different projects.
And also, you were a part of the East Meets West tour. I have to ask you, what was that experience like, and what cities did you actually stop at during that tour?
Well, the tour was going to really crack off, but the tour didn't crack off because there was a problem with some money. So they wasn't willing to come up with enough money for up front, so we just let that go.
Oh damn, man! That would have been a really cool tour because East and West. That would have been one hell of a lineup.
I mean, me too. I was thinking that was great. People wanted it, man, but they just wouldn't make it happen. A lot of people didn't back it.
Well, hopefully someday, it actually comes together and happens. Because just by the name, it's like, damn, man, you need to be there.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a minute. I mean, especially with this COVID going on. I mean, it's a great time for us to get our grind on. And ECP has been grinding. Believe that. There's so much that we've been doing, and it's like I'm loving it. I'm loving the sound that we have right now. Hearing Emerald Down and Emerald Down and Attitude is just Punish. I mean, they motivated me to even wake up because I lay dormant for the last couple of years. I was working on a project called the Swap File, and once my son passed away, I laid dormant for a minute. So my brothers really kind of woke me up. Emerald Down, really, we had a long talk, and having E-Dog on my team, I mean, it really just E-Dog really, man, he keeps me going with the food thing and the music thing, and we're gonna make it happen. It's blowing up right now.
And also, a while back, you released the Time to Shine EP. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration behind that record? And is it still available for individuals to purchase today?
Yeah, it's available on all forms. It's even on Amazon. It's on iTunes. I'm everywhere. I'm on Spotify. You can download it everywhere. CD Baby, doesn't matter. Time to Shine was somebody got me and said, "Hey, come on." Dicey told me, "Come on, let's make something, man. Let's make something happen. You're not doing anything. Let's do something." Man, I'd love to do something with you. He played a couple of beats, and I went and talked to 20 Sack, and he gave me a couple of beats, tracks he listened to. I made a track. We just started vibing, and me and Strikey we said, "You know what? It's time to shine. Let's do this from the bedroom. We did this out our gutter. We did this in the laundry room. I mean, it was really good to do a project like that." And George Delindo came in and added his fun and Out of Sight, and it was really good, man. It was that Time to Shine album. I felt good with it. I needed to do something, let something out.
And I do have to say personally, no, I have a copy, and I have to say I absolutely love that record, man. It's a complete slapper from top to bottom, from left to right, all around phenomenal record.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And also, in 2016, you were a part of the Spread Your Wings tour. I have to ask you, tell us a bit more about that tour, and who exactly was on that with you guys?
Oh, man, we had TNT, man. We had A1. I mean, there was me, myself. There was E-Dog. I mean, it was, we had a great time. We were from Yakima all the way to the Bay Area, man, and in between, at home. You know, that was part of one of the shows we did with Two Shorts at the Showbox also. The one you see the picture with, that was part of that tour too. So it was amazing. E-Dog put it together, and we ended up getting together with one of my partners down in the Bay Area, and he just really cracked it off. He had a big tour going on that he had together, and he had something going on in the Bay Area as well. We teamed up on that show, and it just seemed like a real busy summer, man. It was us getting back together on a little van, and all of us getting our equipment together and riding out. And E-Dog makes that happen very well. You know, it was a great tour. That was a great tour. I wish we could do that again. Yeah.
And also, I know this is probably a different from the music part of things, but I saw a picture of you and Ron Jeremy on Facebook. I do know there's some controversy going on with him, so if you want to skip this question, we can. But I was going to ask you, like, what was it like meeting Ron Jeremy?
Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. Ron's my boy. You know what I mean? I don't know what anybody else got to say. I don't know what he did. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't did nothing. I ain't part of it. But Ron's my boy, and he always came and supported us on many shows. He'd just pop up. He'd just pop up backstage, and he'd be backstage. It was Ron. And he would, next thing you know, we party and kick it, and Ron was there. He'd fall asleep and wake up and do his thing again.
Yeah, he most definitely looks like one of those guys that loves the party, you know what I mean? Most definitely. He seems like a cool, fun guy to be around, to be truthful with you.
You know, he's really cool, laid back, man. He's always in a limo somewhere. Somebody's always driving him around. You know, he has that disease where you fall asleep, you know, where you sit there talking. Narcolepsy, what is it? I think. He'll just fall asleep talking to you. And Ron's pretty, like I said, he's just pretty relaxed, real relaxed guy, man. He's not wild like that. The people around him are more wild than he is.
And also, last year, you were actually a judge for the South Seattle Smoke-Off. What was that experience like, and what exactly is the South Seattle Smoke-Off? I could probably guess what it is, but if you can, enlighten our listeners.
Oh, hey, well, actually, it's part of the West Coast Pitmaster barbecue.
Okay, I literally thought it was like marijuana, so I guess I was totally wrong on that account.
Hey, DJ Morton, we do that too.
Guilty.
We do that too, man. There's plenty of marijuana. My partner Patrick, he made sure I'm supplied with that. But yeah, we got it's a smoke-off, man. It's straight barbecue, bro. It's straight barbecue. We're rolling smoke all the time, man. We're smoking some of the finest meat. And I happen to be a judge for that contest. But I'm part of a group called the West Coast Pitmasters.
That's actually really cool, man. You know, and it's a little different than the hip hop scene, but hey, at least you get to judge and get some free food while you're at it, man. So that's not too bad.
No, not at all, not at all. I'm getting ready to get up into the food business, so it doesn't bother me at all.
And also, directly after this interview, I'm going to actually be playing one of the songs that you actually sent me via email today. And one song that I really took a liking to, man, is actually called On One Attitude, man. I have to ask you, can you tell our listeners a bit more about that song? That way when they listen to it directly after our interview, you know, they can wrap their head around the meaning just a little bit more.
Well, Attitude came at me with this song. Attitude Adjuster from the ECP came to me with this song and said, "Maha, I need you on this track. You need to come. I need to hear this track." And I heard the track and I was like, "Wow, this is cracking. This is on one." We didn't have a title for the song or nothing. I came up with the hook. I wrote my vocals, and Attitude said, "Let's do it." We went to Johnny. Rest in peace. Johnny doesn't exist anymore, so we're Attitude Adjuster is actually getting ready to release an EP that he's been working on, and it's pretty tight, I gotta say. But that's one of the songs that I'm on right now. That's one on Attitude. That's Attitude's album. Actually, that project's going on.
Well, I have to say, it's an absolute slapper. And I most definitely like it. When I first heard it, I was like, ooh, this is some fire.
Yeah, it is fire. The ECT, I mean, N.W.A. the other day, we were up in the studio. He was like, man, how come you ain't released that song? How come you haven't released that song? I was like, that's your brother's song. He was like, oh, I'm going to release it. Yeah, so Attitude and N.W.A., man, they called that song. That's fire. It is fire. I like the song. I can't wait for it to drop. You got it first.
Hey man, most definitely. I appreciate that. I really do. Like I said, it's an absolute honor. I grew up listening to your guys' music, man. So that right there is a blessing, and I appreciate that fully. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
But I have to ask you, what's next for you? Because by the sounds of it, you guys got some great stuff planned and lined up. I have to ask you, what is next for the legendary Maha?
Well, right now, I want to drop my single called Wow. I'm focused on my single, and I'm focused on this documentary about the ECP. I think that's the two next best things that are coming out of Maha right now. Well, let's go three. Also, me and Eda, we're working on food. We're doing a couple of things we got going on, some pop-up stuff, a couple of food trailers we're trying to work on. But that's where I'm at. That's what's next for Maha. I'm about to drop a project. I'm probably going to drop the single sometime next month. And from there, I'll probably drop the project, looking at maybe October.
And I gotta say, to our listeners, if he's dropping a project next month and y'all think summer's over yet, nah, there's one more heat wave coming, and Maha is gonna be the cause of it.
Oh, you already know it's coming. We're trying to get my partner Patrick. We're gonna work on a show called Cars and Chronics.
Oh, nice. So you guys are working on a TV show as well. You guys are straight busy. You're a jack of all trades, Maha.
Yeah, I have to be, man. You have to. You got to stay busy, especially these times. You got to gain some ground. So I'm trying to gain it. And Patrick's helped me gain it. I mean, Patrick, he's a car fanatic. He's oh man, this guy's so tight on working on cars, man. He's a genius, man. So, and also we like that chronic. So we figure we put the two together, and we mesh it and make it happen.
And so, Maha, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And if you can, drop them social media handles. That way our listeners can stay updated on everything Maha, and of course your newest projects as well.
Well, everybody can hit me at Terrence Maharaji Matthews on Facebook. You definitely can find me. I'm working on my other projects on getting everything else ready for this project on all the other social media, so that'll be primed up and ready to roll. I'll make sure DJ Immortal gets all that. You also can hit me on Rain of Fire with Emerald Down on Facebook. You just check in and type in Emerald Down. You'll get it. It's called The Rain of Fire. Also, I'd like to shout out to Patrick, my boy. Keeps me going. Keeps all the chronic, keeps car knowledge going. He keeps me looped up. And then let me holler out to Emerald Down, Attitude of Chester, DJ Punish, the Mix Spot, E-Dog. Let's see, all the Matthews gang. Anybody I missed? Nasty Ness. And all the listeners that's listening. What's up with y'all? Going down. DJ Immortals made it happen. Maharaji, 206, ETP.
And I gotta say, man, again, thank you so much for just providing us with 30 minutes of your time, man. It truthfully was an honor and most definitely a privilege, and I hope down the line we can make this happen again. You have my digits. You ever need anything like promo, airplay, I got you. Just hit me up.
We got it, man. Let's make it happen, dog.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, and definitely try and stay safe out there during this terrible pandemic. But most of all, we shall chat soon.
All right, let's do that, man. You stay safe, man. Be blessed.
You as well. Be blessed, brother.
All right. Later.